Hi. Today we will tell you the storyline of a movie called The Paramedic, which was released in 2020. Well, let's get straight to the story. An accident has just occurred on the side of a large road involving two cars. The first car contains a husband and wife, while the car that hit him was driven by a young woman named Andrea. A paramedic named Ángel Hernández and his partner Ricardo arrived on the scene and moved quickly to bring the injured victims in the cars. After securing the victim in the first car, Ángel took a pair of sunglasses from the victim's car without the owner's knowledge. Ángel went home and took his girlfriend, Vanessa, or commonly called Vane, to bed. After which Vane said goodbye to go to work. Outside, Ángel heard Vane getting along with Angel's neighbor's dog, an old man named Vicente. Ángel took a moment from playing his video game to make sure Vane had left through the peephole in the door. Then, he took the sunglasses out of the bag and put them in the secret drawer. Next, Ángel was back on standby in the paramedic car, listening to Ricardo half-heartedly ramble on about the process of making alcohol while watching a video illustrating the fertilization of an egg. However, his colleague seemed insensitive to Ángel's boredom, as he continued to ramble on until the radio call came in. A woman was reported unconscious in an apartment, so they immediately drove there. Arriving at the location, Ricardo checked the condition of the unconscious old woman. He immediately stated that the woman was dead. While Ricardo reported their discovery outside the room, Ángel took the old woman's gold jewelry. That night, Ángel sells the jewelry to an acquaintance at the bar and gets a good price, claiming that the jewelry was inherited from her grandmother. Ángel went home, saw Vane doing something at the dining table, and complained about accidentally stepping in Vicente's dog poop in the hallway. Vane then informs him that she is on her period. It turns out that Vane and Ángel were planning to have a child, however. Until now, they have not managed to get a child. This disappoints Vane, especially since Ángel blames her and says that maybe Vane isn't pregnant yet because she doesn't really want to have children. Seeing Vane move on, Ángel thinks Vane is offended by his words just now and apologizes, promising to undergo a fertility test. Meanwhile, Ángel struggles to sleep well at night because Kiko keeps barking. The next day, Ángel underwent a fertility test at the clinic. The test results showed that Angel's sperm count was low and most of its movements could not reach the egg to fertilize it. The doctor called this symptom asthenospermia. Unbelieving, Ángel accused the test results of being wrong. The doctor added that Angel's case could be resolved with an assisted reproduction process that had a high success rate. However, he doesn't tell Vane the full results of the test. He suggests they try to have children more often and proposes they take a vacation together on the weekends. But Vane refuses because she has to study and has exams coming up. While Vane was in the shower, Vane's cell phone kept ringing. On the screen, the name Roberto, Vane's classmate. Ángel opened Vane's cell phone, wanting to know what they were talking about in the message. A few moments later, Ángel is back on duty at night. This time, he gets a call to handle accident victims. Deftly, Ángel makes sure the victim gets the help he needs. However, the victim's condition is quite critical and has several seizures. Ricardo was so worried about the situation that he couldn't focus on driving. At the intersection, he didn't see a van coming from the left, hitting their ambulance. As a result, the car rolled over. The accident changed Ángel's fate forever, as he now uses a wheelchair. Although it is very difficult to accept his current situation, Vane patiently helps Ángel with all his needs, including bathing and providing medicine for him. However, as usual, Vane doesn't stay at Ángel's apartment for long. She leaves in the evening. Before leaving, Vane placed Ángel's medicine beside his bed and the remote control for Ángel's bed. Tonight, Roberto called Vane to make sure they were meeting. Noticing Vane's closeness with Roberto, Ángel feels jealous. He secretly suspects that his lover is cheating on him, especially since Vane often dresses up before going to meet Roberto. However, Vane commented that they were just study buddies. Roberto helped Vane to write down the lecture material when Vane couldn't go to class. The next day, Ángel goes alone on the bus for physiotherapy. She watches a video about a tutorial on hacking phones and recommendation apps. The video made him want to try hacking Vane's phone to make sure Vane wasn't secretly cheating on him. Arriving at the therapy center, Ángel asked where Pedro, the operator who had been serving him, was. The new operator named Sandra said Pedro was on leave. Jokingly, Ángel comments that he would rather have a beautiful female operator. However, Sandra also responds to Ángel's joke and suggests he take the woman dancing sometime. On the other hand, Ricardo's fortunes were better after the accident. One day, he visited Ángel while bringing a gift. They exchanged news while making small talk. Ricardo admits that he is concerned about Angel's current condition and intends to encourage him to always be strong. But Angel takes offense to that remark. He still remembers that Ricardo drove the ambulance and caused the accident. Although Ricardo doesn't think the accident was entirely his fault, Angel still blames Ricardo. Ricardo can only say his apology to Angel, which is responded to coldly. It seems that Angel has not been able to forgive Ricardo. He also expels Ricardo. That night, Angel asked Vane to study at the apartment, but Vane said she had to do group work. So Angel asked Vane to buy ice cream for him before leaving. While Vane is downstairs, Angel installs a hacker application on Vane's cell phone. After that, he can monitor where Vane goes. The next morning, Angel runs into his neighbor Vicente and his dog, Kiko, who often disturbs Angel's sleep with his incessant barking. Seeing the dog, Angel immediately insinuates Kiko's habit of barking in the middle of the night. Vicente apologizes for Kiko's behavior of barking because he is lonely. He admits that he often visits his wife at the hospital at night and has to leave Kiko behind. Angel goes to therapy. This time, Sandra trains him to walk while holding onto the bar. Angel is tired, but Sandra forces him to walk another step. Sandra insists on not giving Angel the wheelchair just like that. She put the wheelchair on the other side for Angel to walk around. At the end of the exercise, Sandra carried Angel to sit on the chair, giving Angel the opportunity to hold on to her and smell Sandra's perfume. However, Sandra didn't seem bothered. She was happy that Angel had successfully completed today's exercise. Over dinner, Angel tells Vane that his condition has improved. Sandra says Angel is making progress and can feel again. However, Vane looks casual, like she's not happy to hear about Angel's progress. Angel realizes that there is something to hide. Vane then admits that she has a job offer at a veterinarian clinic. However, Vane is still unsure whether to accept the job or not, saying that she will leave her full-time job and work part-time at the call center. Angel takes issue with Vane's decision since part-time jobs don't pay much, wondering how they will survive without adequate wages, especially since Angel can't work and only gets disability benefits. Vane just said she didn't know. She added that she couldn't work and take care of Angel at the same time. According to her, she had sacrificed a lot for that. Angel became annoyed at this. He turned the question back on Vane because he felt that he had also sacrificed a lot for their lives. Vane couldn't argue anymore. She just left the dinner. When he was alone, Angel listened to Vanessa's business conversation with a strange man who sounded like her future boss. They were discussing the job package and her salary. The man tried to flirt with Vanessa, but she ignored his advances and behaved professionally. A few hours later, Angel tries to fall asleep, but again Kiko barks loudly and disturbs his sleep, trying to get up and calling Vane because he can't find any painkillers beside the bed. Angel then went to the kitchen to get the medicine and took it, after which he hid the remaining medicine in a bottle under his bed. The next morning, Vane came home from work and checked on Angel's condition. Without further ado, Angel asks if Vane didn't get his message last night. Angel expresses his annoyance at Vane for leaving without leaving the painkillers by the bed. Plus, Vane was hard to reach all night. Vane said her cell phone battery was dead and she left the medicine in the kitchen cupboard. However, Angel lied saying there was no medicine in the cupboard. Vane also checked the cupboard and did not find the medicine bottle, even though she was very sure she put it in the cupboard. Finally, Vane apologized and left to buy a new one. Angel was not satisfied with just an apology because he admitted that he suffered a lot last night. Next, Angel inserted some small needles into a piece of raw meat. He then went to the park, where Vicente and Kiko were relaxing. Angel called Kiko and told the dog to eat the meat. Vicente doesn't realize the dog is gone because he's focused on reading. After which, Angel returns to the apartment and listens to Vane's conversation with a female friend. On the phone, Vane admits to being frustrated with Angel's attitude. She feels something is wrong, especially in the painkiller bottle incident yesterday. Her friend admitted that she had never liked Angel. She advised Vane to leave Angel, who had treated her harshly. However, Vane admits that she is not ready to leave Angel now. When Vane comes home from work, Angel immediately invites her to have dinner together. It turns out that Angel has prepared a romantic dinner surprise, complete with candles and homemade dishes. He also asked Vane to wear the dress he had bought. The dress looked beautiful on Vane's body, but Vane did not look happy with Angel's surprise. She only smiled politely and complimented Angel's cooking, which she thought was delicious. Vane tried hard to hide her anxiety and did not want to spoil the atmosphere. Angel also said, today is a new day for them. He promised to try harder to get well and make Vane happy. He is grateful for Vane's help so far. Not only that, Angel is also willing to renovate his grandmother's room to be used as Vane's study place and support her in taking a job at the veterinarian. He admits that their current situation is not easy. It must be hard for Vane. Angel himself feels that he has finally accepted his current situation. Not only that, Angel also confesses that he has checked his fertility at the clinic. He lies saying that they will be able to get the child they want. However, when they slept together that night, Angel couldn't feel anything. Angel then took a shower after their activities were over. Vane waited while sending a message on her cell phone. Suddenly, she heard a notification in another room. Instantly, the message was sent. Vane followed the source of the sound, which continued to sound in accordance with the entry of notifications on Vane's cell phone. Finally, she arrived at Angel's room and heard the notification clearly on Angel's laptop. Without hesitation, Vane opened Angel's laptop. Sure enough, the application that was open showed that it was connected to Vane's cell phone. Vane clicked the camera menu on the app, which immediately turned on the camera on her phone. She suddenly realized what Angel had done. Horrified, Vane hurriedly packed her clothes into her suitcase. Right after that, Angel called her and asked for a towel. However, Vane did not come. He came out of the bathroom and saw his wardrobe wide open. Vane's clothes were not there. He was even more convinced that Vane had left him after finding his laptop open. A few months later, Angel was getting ready to celebrate the new year by shopping at the mall alone. He entered the supermarket and asked the employee to help him get a box of cocoa powder from the top shelf. The employee was happy to help. He recognizes Angel, his schoolmate in elementary school. He reminds Angel and mentions his name, Arturo, but Angel does not respond and leaves immediately after getting what he needs. After that, Angel went to therapy. Sandra did not expect to see Angel again because Angel had missed training for so long. They practiced in the swimming pool. After returning from therapy, Angel passed Vicente at the elevator door. However, the elevator only fit one person. They were awkward and invited each other to go first, but in the end, Vicente relented and used the elevator. Angel spent Christmas and New Year's Day alone, watching TV and drinking champagne, and then pensively stared out the glass door of his balcony, thinking about something. A few days later, he went to the telecommunications call center where Vane now worked and watched from outside with binoculars. Shortly afterward, Vane exited the building. Angel is surprised to see that Ricardo is now in a relationship with Vane. They then go to a baby supply store, looking at cribs. Returning home, Angel opens a secret cupboard in his room. Then, he goes to the hospital to get a supply of morphine through one of his acquaintances. He claims to be in great pain and needs an anesthetic. The next afternoon, he waited for Vane to come home from work and followed her. Angel greeted Vane, who was a little surprised to see the arrival of her former lover. Vane quickly walked away and didn't give Angel a chance to talk to him, but Angel urgently wanted to tell Vane something. He said he just wanted to say goodbye. He didn't blame Vane for leaving him because Vane deserved better. Angel admits that it is difficult to accept reality, and from that day on, Vane will not see him again. This persuasion succeeds in making Vane feel sorry and touched. She is willing to accompany Angel to chat.
Gracias. Buenos días.
They also chat while walking side by side to the front of Angel's apartment building. Before Vane leaves, Angel invites her in to get the rest of Vane's belongings left in his apartment, such as her passport. Although initially hesitant, Vane finally accepted Angel's invitation. Angel tried to get Vane to stay for tea with him. However, Vane wanted to get her things and go home immediately. Angel said that Vane's things were in the drawer of his grandmother's room. Vane went there, and Angel hurried to follow her. When Vane was caught off guard, Angel hurriedly injected the anesthetic into Vane's buttocks. Vane was shocked to feel the needle suddenly. Angel pushed Vane onto the bed and gagged her until she passed out. Vane woke up the next morning. She was surprised to find herself tied to the bed and gagged. Angel came in and said good morning. Angel tried to muffle Vane's thrashing voice by playing music in the room. After that, he left Vane in the room. Angel took Vane's cell phone from her bag, which was full of voicemails from Ricardo, and went outside, sent Ricardo a farewell message, and then threw Vane's cell phone into the river. Angel only returned home when it was dark, when Vane lay limp and silent. Angel made sure Vane wouldn't scream again before removing the gag. He then confessed to meeting Ricardo earlier. He knew Vane and Ricardo were having a baby and congratulated her. Shortly after listening to Angel, Vane screamed again. As a result, Angel gagged Vane again and sedated her. The next day, Vicente knocks on Angel's apartment door. He urgently wants to talk. so Angel rushes to open the door slightly so he doesn't have to invite Vicente in. First of all, Vicente complained about the loud music that had been playing all day yesterday. Angel says he only tuned it for one day, but Kiko has kept him awake for months. Vicente explains that his wife is now dead and Kiko was murdered. Also, Vicente hears shouting from Angel's apartment and suspects it's Vane. Angel says they haven't seen each other in a while. However, Vicente doesn't believe it. He saw them enter Angel's apartment yesterday, and he's sure the screams came from Angel's apartment. Not out of ideas, Angel finally brags that he called a call girl to fulfill his biological needs. Vicente believes Angel's excuse but reminds him not to put on loud music anymore. The next day, Angel goes to therapy and meets Sandra. Sandra says Angel looks very serious. Angel says he's fine and is happy because he and his girlfriend are having a baby. Sandra congratulates him. She didn't realize Angel had a girlfriend before. Angel also asked if Sandra was single and wanted to have children. Sandra said she wanted to have children but didn't want to rush. Angel then asks again if she has plans to freeze her eggs, but Sandra laughs and says it's a silly idea because she's not too old. After returning from training, Angel did not expect Ricardo to be waiting for him in the hallway of the apartment building. Ricardo realized Vane disappeared suddenly. Now he is looking for Vane's whereabouts and thinks maybe Angel knows something. Innocently, Angel says he hasn't seen Vane in a long time. Here, Ricardo just dares to say that he and Vane have been dating for a long time. They don't want to tell Angel just yet for fear of hurting Angel's feelings, however. Angel pretends not to be hurt by the news. He changed the subject by claiming that his intestines hurt and said he would undergo surgery. Arriving at the apartment, Angel wakes Vane up to tell her to take a shower. However, Vane can't move her legs. Angel said not to worry. Angel claimed to have only injected epidural anesthesia which made her legs temporarily paralyzed. As a result, Vane had to crawl out of the room. Angel enjoyed Vane's misery and just watched her struggle to open the door to the room. He put on love-themed music that described his feelings for Vane. Angel also went to the balcony while smoking a cigarette and listening to several voice messages from Ricardo on his cell phone. He was waiting for news from Vane, who had not been found until now. He begged Angel to tell him if he heard from Vane. In the next message, Ricardo sounds upset and threatens to call the police, of course. Angel ignores Ricardo's message. Next, he had dinner with Vane in the room. He planned to name Vane's baby after him if the baby was a boy. But if the baby was a girl, Vane was free to name it whatever she wanted. Vane doesn't respond to Angel's ramblings, and Angel is frank that he still finds it difficult to forgive Vane. Unexpectedly, Vane hit Angel on the head with a glass, then screamed for help while crawling out of the room. Unfortunately, Angel moved quickly and injected Vane with anesthetic until Vane was helpless. Vane's screams are heard, and Vicente rushes to knock on Angel's door again, this time hearing the woman's screams more clearly, which he believes is Vane's voice. Vicente threatened to call the police, but without fear, Angel told him to come in and check for himself. Vicente's suspicions are correct. However, Angel is ready to finish Vicente off. As soon as Vicente sees Vane lying on the floor, Angel stabs Vicente so many times that the old man dies. Angel then called his acquaintance, Fairman, to clear up the situation. Fairman carried Vicente's body in a crate, then put it in a freight truck. The next day, the police came to Angel's apartment. He saw two detectives at his door, wanting to ask him some questions. Angel invited them in and sat down in the living room. One of the detectives asked about his relationship with Vane. Angel admitted that they used to date, but had broken up and were no longer living together. The detective also asked if he knew Ricardo. Angel said, as it was, that they used to work together. Apparently, the police came on Ricardo's report looking for his girlfriend. The detective then asked when the last time Angel met Vane. He replied that a week ago, he met Vane to say goodbye because he was going home to France. He admitted that he knew Vane was now dating Ricardo and felt happy for them. The detective sees an injection and several bottles of anesthetic on the table, but Angel says it's just neuropathy medication. After getting the information, the detective excused himself. After the two cops left, Angel prepared the crib in the room, and then he woke Vane, who had slept all day. Vane said Angel couldn't keep her like this. He could kill Vane and the baby. However, Angel ignored Vane's words and forced Vane to swallow the medicine. Later that night, Angel finds Ricardo's apartment key in Vane's bag. Angel sees Ricardo in the toilet. He rushed to attack Ricardo with an injection of anesthetic, which suddenly made Ricardo helpless. Angel then poured poison and liquor using a funnel into Ricardo's mouth. Ricardo's body could not move. He was only able to shake his head in vain. It didn't take long until Ricardo actually lost his life. Before leaving, Angel deliberately left a bottle of liquor and drugs on Ricardo's desk. Angel then invited Vane to have lunch with him at the dining table. He cooked a spinach omelet so that Vane would not lack iron. Angel wanted to make sure Vane's nutritional needs were met. He then told Vane to look into another room, where Angel had bought a baby carriage. Vane thanked him and said that it was a good carriage. Not enough there. Angel then took out a box of rings and proposed to Vane. Without waiting for Vane's answer, he said he would marry her if Vane proved to be trustworthy. Vane did not answer anything and just looked at Angel. After eating, Angel took Vane to the bathroom. However, Vane wanted privacy while she was bathing. She asked Angel to close the bathroom door and let her bathe without being watched, and Angel complied. Without making any noise, Vane forces herself to get up and look for an object that can be used as a weapon. Vane finally finds a nail clipper on top of the cupboard. Later that night, Angel feels Vane's body feverish, so he excuses himself to buy medicine for Vane at the pharmacy. As soon as she heard the apartment door close, Vane immediately opened her eyes and took the nail clipper she had hidden. She then cut the rope binding her hands loose. After succeeding, Vane untied her legs. She also struggled to get a screwdriver on top of the heating machine. She used the screwdriver to pry open the keyhole, after which he crawled to the apartment door. She managed to push herself along the banister halfway up the stairs, but unfortunately, Angel had already gone home and saw Vane from the elevator. Angel was shocked to see Vane get out of the apartment. Vane did her best to avoid Angel's pursuit. They both crawled down the stairs and struggled on the floor. Vane finally managed to beat Angel. She fights Angel with a screwdriver until she stabs the screwdriver into Angel's hand and makes him fall to the ground floor. Sometime later, Angel is seen being treated in a facility. He is now permanently paralyzed with a severe throat wound that leaves him unable to speak. Vane, who is heavily pregnant, arrives to pick Angel up. She says that from now on, she will take care of Angel. Although very surprised, Angel can't do anything about it.